2 minutes. Minute 30. Seconds. 20 seconds. 15. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I want to welcome you to Ontario, California. This is the official press conference for Figueroa versus Magsayo. I'm Brian Custer. I'm the host of Showtime Championship Boxing. And on Saturday, May 4th, Showtime Championship Boxing is making our first visit to the Toyota Center here in Ontario for a triple header of fights that we will be bringing you, brought to you by Premier Boxing Champions and promoted by TGB Promotions. The broadcast, well, we're going to kick things off at 6 o'clock Pacific time here in California. That's 9 o'clock Eastern. We're also going to be streaming our countdown show, and you can watch that as well. That will come your way at 3:30 Pacific time. That's 6:30 Eastern. We'll have some undercard fights there, and you can check those out on our Showtime Sports YouTube page. The main event, though, of the broadcast on Saturday features two former world champions fighting for redemption, both coming off of heartbreaking losses where they lost their world titles, both focused on regaining the strap, but at 126 pounds. This weekend, by the way, will be the first of 9 events coming your way on the Showtime boxing calendar over the next 4 months. And I'm talking about 9 events of high stakes, meaningful world title fights on this Showtime boxing schedule that you do not want to miss. Here in Ontario, we've got Brandon Figueroa, the Heartbreaker, former 122 WBC champion, 23 1-1, 18 knockouts, taking on Mark Magsayo, the former WBC featherweight champion, 23-1, and he's got 16 knockouts. This is the main event that comes your way on Saturday. And then the co-main, and the co-main features the return of Swift Jared Herb, 24-2, 16 knockouts. The former unified champion is back, and he's going to be fighting 10 rounds, and he's going to be taking on Armando Resendiz, 13-1, and he's got 9 knockouts as well. That will be the co-main coming your way on Saturday. But we'll begin the night with the battle of unbeatens. Amilcar Vidal, unbeaten, 16-0, 12 knockouts out of Uruguay, taking on that young punching sensation in Elijah Garcia, 13-0. He's got 11 knockouts, be making his national television debut on Showtime Championship Boxing. Stat card, let's talk about it with the fighters, find out what we should expect. Let's start with the first fight of the night. Battle of unbeatens. Amilcar Vidal, Elijah Garcia. And Amilcar, I'll start with you. Were you surprised when you got the call that a young 19-year-old is the one who is challenging you, and a confident young man, because he's already talked about making a statement and getting himself a stoppage come Saturday?
Bueno, Amílcar, ¿te sorprendió? ¿Te sorprendió que un joven de 19 años que parece tener mucha confianza y que ya ha dicho que quiere demostrar de lo que es capaz, que quiere mandar un mensaje al mundo, te haya desafiado de esta manera?
Bueno, primero que nada, buenas tardes. No, la verdad que no, esto es un deporte de boxeo, hay que estar preparado para todo, pero como siempre lo dije, me fijo en hacer mi trabajo. Hice un gran campamento con mi equipo de trabajo y me fijo más bien en salir a hacer mi trabajo el día sábado y listo.
I only focus on myself, really. What the others have to say doesn't really concern me, because in the end, I had a great training camp. I focus on the people that I work with, the people that are going to make me better each and every day, and it's about showing what I'm worth on Saturday night. What Elijah says or doesn't say doesn't really concern me.
Elijah, Amilcar certainly has the advantage when you talk about experience. Just 19. Is this fight and this step up, is it a step up too soon in your career, in your opinion?
I wouldn't say it's a step up too soon. You know, this is something we prepared for, you know, since I was 16, you know what I'm saying? So the whole plan turning pro was to win belts, and I'm 19 years old, and you know, we're aiming 21, 22 years old to fight for a world title. And you know, if this is the way I've got to go, then this is the way it has to be. You know what I'm saying?
It is national television debut, Showtime Championship Boxing. What's the statement you're looking to prove and put out there on Saturday night?
I want everybody to know that I'm not just an average 19-year-old. You don't see 19-year-olds taking these type of fights, and I'm here to make a big statement and you know, get the win in a fashionable way.
Amilcar, hey look, he said he's looking to make a statement and get a win in a big way. What's your response to that? What is Amilcar trying to prove Saturday night?
Bueno, acá García dice que básicamente eso es un obstáculo en su camino de querer ser campeón mundial para los 20, 21, 22 años, y que él quiere mandar un mensaje con esta pelea y que no muchos tienen esta oportunidad y quieren que vos seas su trampolín. ¿Qué tenés que decirle para responderle y para que medio como que no sea grande, no?
Que voy a estar listo, estoy listo para el sábado, para dar lo mejor. Entrené, como te digo, hice un gran campamento encabezado por mi técnico Bob Santos y todo su equipo, y también es un sueño, cada pelea que peleo es un gran paso para mí y es un sueño, y creo que el sábado voy a estar listo de principio a fin para si Dios quiere salir con la victoria.
You better be ready, because every fight that I fight is a dream come true for me. And I plan to make more dreams come true in the future. I had an absolutely awesome training camp with Bob Santos as my coach. They prepared me really well, and I'm ready to send my own message on Saturday night.
Elijah, your response?
I'm not a big talker. You know, I'm here to. You know, I'm not a big talker. I just let my performance speak for itself. You know, he's a good opponent. I'm sure he did have a good training camp. You know, but you know, he's not the only one. I'm more than prepared. to go 10 rounds, and they asked to go 10 rounds.
Fantastic. Milcar, we'll wrap it up with this because you talked about your camp, working with Bob Santos. Who isn't Bob Santos training these days, by the way? I mean, the man is like, he's got the magic touch with every fighter he comes in contact with. You were already a terrific fighter before you got with Bob. How different of an Amilcar will we see Saturday night now that you've been under Bob Santos' tutelage?
Han estado bajo la tutela de Bob Santos, un entrenador que anda con una racha impresionante de campeones. ¿Cómo ha logrado Bob cambiar a Amilcar de antes para que sea el Amilcar de ahora que vamos a ver el sábado?
No, creo que es trabajo. Me mentalizo trabajar duro. Sabía a dónde venía, con quién iba a estar. Para mí es un gran entrenador y trabajamos, la adaptación fue muy buena y eso creo que es algo grandioso y bueno, como te digo, estoy listo y estamos listos para el sábado y tranquilo nomás.
I wanted to be focused on working hard, on giving the best I could. So I was well aware of who I was working with and what I was getting into. And it was great from the get-go. We adapted really well to each other, and the fruits of our labor are going to be, reaping on Saturday night. That's for sure.
That's the first fight of the night, folks, that comes your way on Showtime Championship Boxing. Then we get to the co-main. And, I said it before, it is the return of the former unified champion, Swift Jared Hurd, taking on a young up-and-comer in Armando Resendiz, who is 13-1. He's got himself 9 knockouts. This is going to be one heck of a fight. Jared, I'll start with you. Man, it's been a long time since we've seen you. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, 21 months is the last time that we've seen Swift Jared Hurd in the ring. We've seen fighters who've been off for 11 months, fighters who've been off for a year, and they all say the same thing, whether they've won or whether they lost. You know what? It's been a long time. The rust kind of got to me. It's 21 months. How could that not be an issue come Saturday night?
Well, first of all, I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for getting me here today. Thank all you guys for coming out. Thank you to TGB Promotions, Showtime Sports, and I want to really give a big thank you to Al Heyman. During this 21-month layoff, he's really been there for me from the passing of my father, and ever since I've been signed with him, he's really had my back. So I just want to say a big thank you to Al Heyman, man, everything he's done for me. But to answer your question, Brian, man, just stay ready, man. Even during the months off, I had a lot of wars in the beginning of my career or towards the end of my career. So I think a break wasn't such a bad thing. It's been some tough fights with me, and having some time off to get myself together. Business ventures. I just moved out of my parents' house not too long ago, about 2 months ago, or 2 years ago. So yeah, man, getting the house together, things like that. The time off was well needed.
Fantastic. Armando, you heard Jared talk about, look, I've had some wars. This is no doubt a step up in competition for you, but do you believe that Jared Hurd is still that elite fighter that you've seen in the past?
No cabe duda de que esta pelea es un escalón es un nivel más alto para vos de lo que has estado haciendo. Pero ¿crees que Jared Hurd sigue siendo el mismo Hurd que era en el pasado, considerando que lleva 21 meses de inactividad?
Bueno, él se ganó su lugar, fue un gran peleador. Yo digo que todavía es un gran peleador, mis respetos para él. Sin embargo, pues ahora nosotros queremos posicionarnos en un mejor lugar y nada, eso nada más con la preparación que hemos llevado, la disciplina que hemos tenido y pues las oportunidades que Dios nos ha dado.
Jared, you earned your place. I consider you a great fighter, but I also know that I have to earn my own place, and I want to solidify myself in boxing, just like Jared has in the past. So I know I have to work hard, and I thank God for being healthy, and if God willing, I can win on Saturday night and continue playing.
Jared, Now I'm looking here at the record. It has been more than 3 years since Swift Jared Hurd has had his hand raised in victory. Why don't you tell us why Saturday will be different?
Well, I had some bad nights. To be honest with you, man, there's no excuses. The losses I had, it was split decision. They could have went either way. But at the end of the day, I'm back at home training. I was with K. Carone. K. Carone was still my guy. He's not gonna be in my corner on Saturday night, but he's still gonna be in my corner every fight I have. And training out of town just wasn't a great thing for me. All the traveling and being away for 6 months. I had all my success being here back at home, in my hometown training, and now that I am back at home training with my new trainer Andrew Council, Andrew is we just match, man. He allows me to be myself, and it's almost like where I was before becoming a unified world champion. I'm back being the guy that people didn't believe in. I'm back being the guy that has to go out here and prove each and every time why I got to where I was. I came in fighting on the B side. I had to go out there and beat some of the guys that nobody thought I would beat. And this time off made me fall back in love with the sport, man. How that Beyonce song go? She said, I feel I'm falling in love. I'm in the mood to fuck something up.
So Jared likes to kill you softly singing. Throw them digs when he's singing it. Let's go to your opponent here. Given that, Armando, he is a guy that has always overwhelmed his opponents with pressure, and they've succumbed to that. How do you not succumb to that on Saturday night and get a victory?
El historial de Hurd dice que él abruma a sus oponentes con presión y que después los derrumba con eso. ¿Cómo tenés pensado evitar que Hurd logre su cometido y te presione a vos de la misma manera que lo ha hecho contra sus oponentes en el pasado?
Bueno, estoy preparado para eso. La verdad que hicimos una gran preparación con mi entrenador Manny Robles y el Trajazo. La verdad que estamos preparados para esa presión. Y bueno, soy mexicano. Yo estoy listo para la guerra y a mí no me asusta ni me preocupa y encantado yo de dar un espectáculo a la gente.
Well, I was always ready for that because my coach Manny Robles and I have been tirelessly going through the lessons learned from the past fights to avoid falling into that pressure. And look, I'm Mexican, so I'm ready for a war. That's in my blood. So bring it on. I'm gonna be ready for whatever comes our way on Saturday night.
Love it. He's ready for war. Jared, at 160, we know what you've done at 154. Is 160 your weight? And you talked about the different trainer. Is this all a recipe for success for Jared Hurd?
Oh yes, hey, listen, I love 160, man. 154, I was making, everybody thought I was a giant at that weight. Such a breeze making 160, man. I just ate a meal before getting here, drinking water on the way to the weigh-in. Just love it, man. And 160 is the weight class I'm here to stay at. And I know he said he's coming with Mexican style, but he's Mexican. You know what they say, though. I got Mexican style, so it's gonna be a war for sure.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And at the end of the night, they will be saying what about Swift Jared Hurd?
They will be saying he's back, for sure. They would say he's back, man. I'm not going out here looking for a knockout. I know I got a lot of cobwebs to shake off. It's been 21 months, like you guys said, but I'm not going out here to have a certain type of performance. I just want to dominate.
Armando, at the end of the night, they're going to be saying what about Armando Resendiz?
Armando, cuando termine la noche, ¿qué va a estar diciendo la gente y la prensa sobre Armando Resendiz?
Bueno, primero que nada, pues espero darles un buen sabor de boca, dejarles una gran pelea. Y nada, vamos a dejar que las cosas se den, que las cosas pasen y nosotros vamos a hacer nuestro trabajo y confiar en Dios.
First of all, I want to give you all a great show. I hope you all leave your TV sets, the arena, thinking, wow, what a great fight. And then, whatever happens, happens. I'm going to go with the flow, rely on my training, and then hopefully I'm going to have my arm races again.
That's the co-main of the night on Showtime Championship Boxing. And let's get to the main event. And what a main event we've got. We've got the former WBC featherweight champion, Mark Magsayo, taking on the former 122-pound world champion, the WBC champion, the heartbreaker himself, Brandon Figueroa. Both of these guys coming off really close losses, lost their titles, and now focused on getting the strap back now at 126 pounds for Brandon Figueroa. B, I'll start with you here. When you look at your opponent, Mark Magsayo, he's coming off a loss against a long, rangy fighter. Brandon Figueroa is a long, rangy fighter. You would think on paper, this is a recipe for success for Brandon Figueroa. What do you say?
I mean, yeah, I have all the abilities, you know, I have the length, the size. You guys know I love to fight, I come to fight. I know a lot of people, even my dad tells me, use your jab, your distance. But to be honest, I love to fight. You know, I go in there to dominate my opponent, break him down, and get him out of there. You know, that's my job, is to go in there. I train really hard, and I'm just looking to go in there and do it at the best, which is just break it down and dominate you.
Mark,
Yes, sir.
last time we saw you, Ray Vargas, you heard Brandon say, look, I'm a long, rangy fighter as well. You tell us why this time it's going to be different against Brandon Figueroa.
First of all, good afternoon. First of all, we thank God for everything, and my team, Sean Gibbons, Al Heyman, for making this fight happen. For this fight, different, yes. Ray Vargas is just running man, and this guy is a good fighter. It comes to fight, so it big difference. So to the last guy, I fought.
Listen, you know there's a nice Mexican Filipino type rivalry too when it comes to boxing. So what should fans expect when you two step into the ring on Saturday?
Expect that there's a brawl fight there, because Brandon Figueroa is not gonna back out, and I'm sure he's gonna come forward and he's gonna turn southpaw, everything. So I've been preparing for this fight. So we've been preparing for last year, October, until now. Yeah, we're ready, and this is a brawl fight.
Brandon, you heard it. He said he's ready. He knows that you're going to come forward. He likes to come forward. Says you know you'll probably turn southpaw on him. What's your response to that?
Yeah, of course, you know, I'm going to do everything it takes to win this fight. If I see that I'm boxing him well and that I'm winning, then I'll box. If I see that I can get him inside and hurt him with those body shots, then I'm going to do so. You know, I can fight lefty, righty. You know, I have every ability to beat him, and I feel like Saturday night, everyone will see, and I'm coming with everything. You know, I have to make a big statement for 126, and I'm going to leave my mark, and definitely want to win more titles, and, you know, just be one of the best.
Yeah. Mark, a lot of guys, man, have succumbed to the pressure of Brandon Figueroa. Is this a fight where you take the fight to him, or what? Tell us why you won't succumb to the pressure of Brandon Figueroa on Saturday.
Whatever happens in that fight, what this guy's gonna do, forward, backwards, everything, we're ready for that. We're prepared for that. And then I've been fighting a good fighter, like say as a good body puncher. I take a 95 shoulder body puncher in my stomach, and like, oh, hurt. But it's good. I can take it. Because I want to win.
Yeah. Tell me, what is the statement you're trying to make Saturday night? Obviously, your last fight, you lost the title. I'm sure you want it back. What's the statement you're trying to send to the 126-pound division?
I'm not a big talker, and I'm not gonna talk too much, but there's gonna be a knockdown this fight, but we're ready for that.
B, he said there's gonna be a knockdown in this fight. He already said that, took that gut punch from Seha. I was like, oh, that hurt. We know you're known for body punches. Do you think a knockdown will come as opposed from something up top, but from the body?
Oh man, just expect a great fight. I'm no Seha. I definitely hit way harder than him. You know, especially now at 126, I feel like I'm very strong, very powerful, and I feel like I said already, you guys will be surprised at how I'm gonna come prepared. You know, big shout out to Bob Santos, pound for pound. You know, they've welcomed us here in Las Vegas. I mean, not here in Las Vegas, but in Las Vegas, and it's been excellent. You know, we had a good training camp. Shout out to my family. I always have my back. My mom, my sister, my dad, Jesse Coronel, Isaac, Steph. You know, everyone that just follows me along, my family, I love them. My fans back home, and I just can't wait to go out there and give fans a great show. And for all my people, my Mexican people, Tamaulipas, Hispanos, you know, big shout out to you guys, and I just can't wait to get in there and mix it up with Mark. I know he's a great fighter. Shout out to the Philippines also. I know I have some fans in there. You know, what can I say? Nothing but respect for Mark. I'm just ready, and I just can't wait to give the fans a great show. So thank you guys.
Mark Magsayo, we'll wrap it up with this. For the people who will turn on Showtime Championship Boxing, folks who come out to the Toyota Center here in Ontario and pay their hard-earned money to come see you fight, what can you guarantee that they're going to get Saturday night when you take on Brandon Figueroa?
I guarantee that there's gonna be a great fight. A good fight. Is Brandon Figueroa is a prepared too. He's ready for this fight. He's ready for war, and I'm ready for war. So let's see Saturday night, and it's a good fight. The winner of this fight is the fans. So let's roll.
I love it. Brandon Figueroa, you get the final words. Same thing to you. For the folks who come out to this Toyota Center and turn on Showtime Championship Boxing, what can you guarantee they're going to get Saturday night?
You're gonna get an early spring break action. You know, definitely. I know all these guys are hungry to fight, hungry to win, and you know that's what boxing is about. You know, fighting the best of the best, getting the world titles, and leaving your name in the books. And I know all these guys here are ready. I'm ready. We're all focused. And you know, now it all comes down to put it all together Saturday night, and you know, give fans a great show. That's what we're here.
It is the main event of the night. Two former world champions, Brandon Figueroa, Mark Magsayo, and in the co-main, the former unified champion, Swift Jared Hurd, Armando Resendiz. And then we begin the night with a battle of unbeaten as Amilcar Vidal takes on that big punching young sensation in Elijah Garcia. Showtime Championship Boxing comes your way, 6 o'clock Pacific time. That is 9 o'clock Eastern. Don't forget about our countdown show. You can see that at 3:30 Pacific. That is 6:30 Eastern time. You can check that out on our Showtime Sports YouTube page. Tickets are available. You can get them through Ticketmaster.com. Of course, everything goes down at the Toyota venue here in Ontario, California. And listen, folks, do not forget, it is the first of 9 events coming your way on the Showtime boxing calendar over the next 4 months. High stakes, meaningful fights coming your way. I'm Brian Custer. Thanks for watching. Guys, let's get a face-off.
I'll be here.
Good, bro.
And then if you guys just stay up. Come closer. Closer. Face on, let's hold that, please. Guys, could y'all all please, everyone, could you please sit down? Thank you. All right, guys, let's start with the cameras. Right here first, please.
First fight of the night, Amilcar Vidal, Elijah Garcia. Couple of unbeaten to start the show off. 16-0, 13-0.
If you just hang out right here on the side.
And now we get to the co-main.
Right there, Jared. Closer. Closer. Keep going.
Ay, México.
All right, guys.
The former unified champion, Swift Jared Hurd, 24-2, 16 knockouts. Taking on Armando Resendiz, 13-1. He's got 9 knockouts. It is the co-main of the night. And now, the main event.
Nice and tight, let's face off, hold that please. All right, John, turn for the cameras right here together first, please.
2 former world champions here, folks.
Right here.
The former WBC 122-pound champion, the heartbreaker Brandon
TV's
Figueroa.
TV's in the back, guys.
The former WBC featherweight champion, Mark Magsayo, 23-1. He's got 16 knockouts. This is your entire card that comes your way Saturday night on
Everyone
Showtime
together, right here
Championship
first,
Boxing.
please.
Right here. Not
Right in
around
the
the
center,
ground.
guys.
Right here. Right here.
All right, cameras in the back together, guys. Thank you.
Sorry. Just keep looking at you instead.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
3 fights brought to you by Premier Boxing Champion. Thank you, everyone.
5-4, that's good.
Whoever you want to hear, guys.
I'll wait for showtime so you can just look at me.
What do you guys need? Do you need anybody or? Huh? Get Brandon?
Everybody be talking about boxing.
Anyone for Brandon? It's your back. Anyone who'd like him, let's use our artwork, please. Yeah, come on in.
What's up, brother? How you doing? Good to see you. All right. I'll be real quick, brother. Yeah. Stephen Guarino, KOR Sports, right here with the heartbreaker, Brandon Figueroa. Man, just first of all, did you give yourself that nickname? How'd you get that nickname?
I got that nickname a long time ago when I was like 7, fighting in Mexico. I remember walking into the arena, those little girls, they're like, oh yeah, you were rompecorazones, which stands for here comes the heartbreaker. At such an early age, I already had a fan of girls. And ever since then, my name carried to this day, and yeah, we're still here.
That's awesome, man. Talk to me, obviously you're coming off of your loss to Fulton. I know you disagree with the decision there when that happened. What's that process like of kind of moving on from like your first loss like that, especially a disputed one where you felt you did enough?
Yeah, I mean, just like life, you gotta get back up and keep going. It's not the end of the world, there's many more objectives to meet, goals and dreams that I want to achieve, and I feel like this is one step definitely, winning another world title and fighting for another world title and just keep racking them up. That's what I'm here to do, is move on from the past and keep getting better and better.
Are you able to eat, being that you're moving up and it's only 4 pounds, so I don't know. I mean, are you really able to eat or not really?
Not really. I mean, those 4 pounds do matter a lot, but it's still the same stuff. You still have to drop the same weight. You still have to drop to a significant amount. You still have to suffer a little bit. I don't have to suffer as much, I can say that, but I do have to suffer a little bit.
Looking at Mark Magsayo, man, he's not a guy you're going to have to look for, right? He's not like going to be moving around the ring or anything like that. Obviously, you're a high volume puncher. Does that change the mentality going into camp? Maybe make it a little more exciting, being that, man, this guy's going to be right there for me. We're going to go at it.
Yeah, I mean, my game plan is to follow my game plan, which is to box. And like I said, like if I feel like if I'm boxing really well and I'm doing really, really well, then I'm going to continue to do so. But if I feel like if I'm better at getting on the inside and breaking them down, then that's what I'm going to do.
When envisioning the fight and how it ends, I know you just said you're going to box, but do you feel like it's going to go to a decision because your game plan is to box, or do you feel like because your styles and how they're going to clash together that someone's going to get at it?
Yeah, I feel like with the styles, I mean, it can go both ways, but I can surely say that I'm coming with everything. I'm leaving everything in the ring. And if I hurt him, I'm taking advantage of that, especially to the body. I know that his weakness is the body, which is really an advantage to me. So I just can't wait to get in there and mix it up. You know, I feel like a lot of people are going to be surprised.
Again, this is kicking off, I believe Brian said like 11 weeks or something of boxing, or 10 weeks of boxing, something like that. Some of the bigger fights, Caleb Plant versus David Benavidez, man, you smile. It's a good fight, man. As a boxing fan, I'm sure you're excited about it. Talk to me about that one.
Yeah, I'm for sure going to come Vegas to see that one live. I want to. I'm not really the type of person that really likes to see fights live, but Benavidez is probably one of my favorite fighters right now. He's just rugged. He's a Mexican. They call him the Mexican monster. He just goes out there and dominates you in any fashion he wants. So definitely that's a fight that I'm going to be there live to watch, and I'm going to enjoy it live too.
You mentioned Benavidez first. Is that who you're picking to win?
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have idols. I don't really look up to anyone, but if I can say that if I can look up to any boxer, it wouldn't be him. Honestly, David Benavidez is just a monster. He just doesn't complain, no excuse. He just goes out there and just beats you up. That's it. That's the style that I love, because that's kind of the style I have. And that same ruggedness, that same mentality, he's just gonna go out there and just bring it to you. So yeah, I mean, I've been rocking with Benavidez for a while, and I feel like he's gonna be up there.
How does he get it done, do you think?
Knockout,
huh?
Knockout.
And last one, I want to get your take on, Tank versus Ryan. It's another big fight, obviously a lightweight, a couple of weight classes above yours. I'm sure you're excited about that one too. That's a really, really good one. How stylistically, how do you think that plays out in the ring between Tank and Ryan?
Oh man, it just depends. I mean, it just depends how Garcia fights. Because if Garcia boxes, then Gervonta Davis' job is to get on the inside. So it's going to be a really interesting fight, seeing how Gervonta Davis is going to do with the distance and the length, the height. But I feel like Davis has a lot of ability to beat Ryan Garcia, if not get him out of there too. Yeah, like I said, it just depends how everything goes. But if Ryan is able to keep his distance, I feel like Ryan will even knock him out. So it can go both ways. It's another 50-50 fight.
Well, man, a great fight coming up this Saturday, obviously, March 4th, your fight against Mark Magsayo. Thank you so much, Brandon. Appreciate it, man, and best of luck.
So thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Mark, what do you know about Brandon Figueroa?
Brandon Figueroa is a world fighter, top fighter, and great fighter. Yeah, just gonna do war. He's fighting. He's not gonna back up for sure. He's gonna come forward, and we're ready for that.
And Benoit versus Fulton, who do you pick?
Noah.
Why?
Noah's fast, good, strong. He's everything. That's why he's everything.
And a final message to all your fans in the boxing world watching.
To all my Filipino boxing fans, to all over the world, watch my fight. It's coming Saturday night. It's gonna be a great night. It's gonna be a big fight for everybody.
Thank you.
Stephen Gudeno, Carolina Sports are here with Mark Magsayo. Man, I feel like when this fight got announced, I know as a boxing fan, I was looking forward to it because I feel like it was can't miss. Your guys' styles, he's very come forward, very pressure, throws a lot of volume. You know, you pick your shots, you like coming forward, you like a good fight. When you're training for a guy like that, does that make it maybe a little funner in camp, or maybe you look forward to the fight more knowing that you're not going to have to look for him?
That style of that's gonna do in the fight is to come forward. We train for that. We're ready for that. In the sparring, in everything, in training detail. So we're ready. What's coming?
Mm-hmm. Coming off of your first loss, how does that change your mindset going into camp? How does a fighter who's never lost before kind of accept that and then move on?
I accept my lost that fight because it's a little bit adjust. I think I won the fight, but I respect the judge's decision, and then I come back stronger.
Is this like maybe the perfect fight to show that you're back stronger, to show that you learned whatever lessons you did from Bart?
This is a good fight because they give me an opportunity again to fight a world title fight, entering world title fight with Figueroa. It's a great opportunity.
Man, a big fight obviously around your weight class, your previous weight class, Inoue versus Stephen Fulton. Inoue's moving up. I want to say it's 4th division now. But they're kind of the smaller divisions, right? Maybe only 4 pounds apart from each other. You yourself are moving up 4 pounds. Is that going to make a big difference for Inoue? The weight adjustment is going to be better for him, maybe because he doesn't have to lose the weight.
I think it's better for him. It's makes stronger for him and faster because more comfortable in that weight. Yeah, I think he's going to win this fight.
With Stephen Fulton being kind of a slick boxer, how does Inoue deal with that?
Inoue's fight is a good fighter. It's fast, good. It's hand speed, and it's everything. That's why he got undisputed in his division. But let's see in this division. Let's see what he does.
Man, fighting. Obviously, you're not from LA, but you're training here in LA. I saw you at the Wild Card a couple of days ago. What is that like to be in the Wild Card? To be in a place, obviously, with the house that Manny Pacquiao built. You could say.
I'm with Coach Marvin now.
Right.
Yeah. I'm with Coach Marvin now. We're training in Brick House Gym.
Oh, you're at Brick House. Oh, I saw you at Wild Card on Tuesday or something like that. Maybe you're just working out or something?
We're not there.
Oh, my bad. Hey, Mark, tell the fans, man, where they can follow you.
Follow my Instagram, Mark Magsayo, and Facebook page, Mark Magsayo.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate
See
it.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. What's up, Bob? How you doing, sir? Good to see you, man. Man, I didn't know you were working with everybody.
We try, man. We try.
That's awesome, bro. Can we talk to you?
Yes, sure. Of course. Always. Let me get a little water.
This is Betty's water.
Oh, George, can you give me a water? Give me a water. Yeah, no water. Plastic cup's good. Let me get a little
yeah,
water.
go ahead. I gotta get it.
You ready?
Yeah, let's go this way. The lighting's a little better.
Okay, wherever you want.
Steve Moreno, Cal Sports. We're here with the one and only Bob Santos. I feel Trainer of the Year, right? I believe Ring Magazine, Trainer of the Year. Congratulations on that, man. First and foremost, what was it like just getting that honor, getting that call, and knowing that people are seeing your work and getting the accomplishments?
Well, two things. It was a huge accomplishment, but for me as a little kid, I used to read Sports Illustrated, obviously Ring Magazine. Those are my 2 favorite magazines that I read as a kid, and to get Trainer of the Year in both magazines, to me, it was a huge honor, and for my family, you know what I mean? Because like I said, my cousin fought in the 1956 Olympics, and so for my family being involved in the sport and things of that nature, it meant a lot. It meant a lot.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome, and I feel like well deserved. You got a lot of fighters, Carlos Adames, Tulel, just a lot. I mean, Emil Carr, yeah. Man, undefeated guy. What are boxing fans going to learn about Carr this weekend when he fights on the card?
what they're going to learn about him, he does a lot of creative things in the ring. He does some things that you just can't teach, right? So he has some natural God-given ability, and what we try to do is just add a little bit to the toolbox, you know what I mean, and thank the good Lord for the talent that he has, the length and things of that nature. And he's very creative, but we settled him down a little bit, you know what I mean, and take round by round and not just always just go for the kill. And I think that'll pay dividends over a 12-round fight and so on and so forth. But he's a very talented fighter, and he could become the first champion in the history of his country in Uruguay. So he has a lot of determination to do something that nobody in the history of his country has done.
That's pretty incredible. I feel like you're getting a lot of like South American boxers, right? A lot of Dominican fighters. Uruguay was there. Is there some? I don't know. Was there a reason for that? I feel like you have a unique niche in that group.
Well, I'm very fortunate. Like I said, my cousin fought the 1956 Olympics. Obviously, he's from Puerto Rican descent, and so I've had a special connection, obviously, with the Latin community. I grew up in a completely Latino community in San Jose, California. You know, so I understand the culture fairly well, and I've been blessed to work with Louis de Cubas Jr., obviously, who's Cuban, has a great connection with the Cuban fighters, and they trusted me to get these guys ready, and I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I don't know if it's confirmed, but I heard that Carlos Adames might be fighting in Minnesota. What is it, the 24th or something like that against J. Rock Williams?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
Yes,
so
yes.
that's a good fight.
Yes, a great fight. Great fight.
It's a good name for Carlos Adames. It's a good scrap. Carlos, I feel like, has really grown into his power at 160. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. He's definitely grown into his power. You know, I think he's starting to reach his stride now. And we think, you know, sky's the limit for him. He could do a plethora of things. He's got power in both hands. He's got great feet. Obviously, we'd like to get the Charlo fight. That doesn't look like that's going to be anything that's going to happen anytime soon for whatever reason. But that's definitely a fight that we want. So we'll see how that plays out with Charlo in June. I think he fights the 16th. We fight the 24th. So hopefully that could be a fight that we can do on the next one. You know, we'd love to do that fight June 16th, but it is what it is. And I think Carlos is a special talent. I think he's going to prove out to be a pound-for-pound type fighter.
Why do you think it's not happening on the 6th? Because you guys are just fighting, what, 2 weeks later or a week later or something like that, right? I mean, why was that not be able to put together?
You know, obviously, boxing's a sport, but like anything, there's a business side to it. You know, and I can understand why they might not want to fight Carlos Adames. You know, it's a very high risk, right? I know Charlos very well. I have the utmost respect for them. I think they're some of the best fighters in the world, but I think Carlos is a little bit different, and I'm not just saying it because he's my fighter. I really believe that he's a better fighter than Charlo. He's a more talented fighter than Charlo, and I think if they were to fight, there's no doubt in my mind that he would win. And obviously, in their mind, they think that they would win, but they have to know it would be a very, very ultra-competitive fight, and I think that's why the fight's not happening.
Maybe it's not the fight he wants coming off of like a 2-year layoff.
Oh,
or something like
especially that. Even if he has a fight in between, I don't think that's the fight they're going to want. I don't think that's a fight that we're going to see.
Wow, really? That you just really don't think? Because I mean, Adames is the interim champion, right? So I mean, something has to happen with the WBC.
You know, I just don't think that's a fight that we're going to see.
Wow,
I wish it was different for the fans, but I just don't see it happening.
It's a bummer to hear. I hope you're wrong. Because
me and
you probably hope you're wrong too.
Yeah, sure.
Man, I want to get your take. Tank versus Ryan recently got announced. You were the last trainer with Garcia, Hector Garcia. What did Tank do that maybe was unexpected in that fight that Garcia just wasn't able to adjust to, or was it just he got caught?
I think, you know, like in all sports, momentum is a mother effort, right? I felt we were winning the fight at that point. Again, maybe it's a biased call, but I think anybody, by any fair-minded people, would say, hey, the fight was very competitive. Could have been 4-3 either way, right? I thought we were having our best round in the 8th round. We hit him with a nice uppercut. We were starting to come on. I thought we had Tank a little bit gassed. If you look in the 7th round, he's like, hey, what round is it? Wasn't sure what round. When he found out what round it was like, wow. You could see the look on his face. And unfortunately, you know, I take nothing away from Tank. He did what he had to do. He won the fight. They're both in the same circumstance at the time. But when the fans broke out in fisticuffs and they stopped the fight, momentum is a mother effer. And if you give, anytime you give a puncher a timeout per se in the middle of a round, who can punch like that, you know what I mean? And you get a little cold, you lose a little focus, bing, and he hits you with a big shot, and it's good night, Irene. Then that's the difference that Tank can bring to the table, but all credit to him. They're both in the same situation. He took advantage of the situation that was presented to him at the time, and the rest is history. That being said, I hope in the future that referees understand, unless somebody comes into the ring, things are going to happen outside the ring, and we can't stop what's going on inside the ring for things happening outside the ring unless they get to the ring. And I don't think you should, so I guess that's a story for another day.
Right, for sure. Yeah, that was very odd, that fight that happened. Because normally you see fights in the crowd, but not.
Yeah, I was
there.
really perturbed at it because I was like, hey, man, they got to continue to fight. You can't stop the fight doing what's going on. But, you know, he made the decision. He did what he did, and Gervonta capitalized on it. And he's a great fighter who's a puncher. You give him a timeout in the middle of the round, you know, good night, Irene.
Now looking forward to Tank's next fight against Ryan. How does Ryan use his height and quickness against Tank, would you say?
Well, obviously he's got to be busy with the jab. I think Ryan's got tremendous heart. He's got the balls. He's a Mexican warrior. He got off the deck with Campbell, so obviously we know what kind of heart he has. And I think the key factor in this fight is going to be Joe Goosen, the strategy that he implements. I've known Joe for many, many, many years. I was in his gym for a long, long, long time, and I learned a lot from Joe. So as far as the strategist goes, I think he's second to none. You look at the fact of what he did with Chico Corrales versus Castillo, and the type of the way he guides a corner and that element. And I think, you know, that being said, that could be, you know, that could be what maybe turns the tables on this thing. I like Gervonta in the fight. I'm favoring him in the fight. But I'm not going to underestimate Ryan Garcia, and I'm definitely not going to underestimate Joe Goosen, guy in that corner, and what he's going to bring to the table in that camp. So if Ryan beats him, upsets him, am I going to be surprised? No. But I still favor Gervonta in that fight.
I feel like Tank, especially in the last few fights, you know, kind of downloads the information the first 5-6 rounds, you know what I mean, and then starts kind of picking his spots and walking guys down. Knowing that, obviously we all see that, so Ryan and Joe see that as well. Do you maybe switch the strategy up around the 5th, 6th round, if knowing that maybe Tank's going to do that, or is that just kind of you have to be in the fight and feel it out?
You know, you got to take it round by round, obviously. One thing with Tank is you can't lose focus for not 1 second. That's a mistake that Hector, I think, like what happened with the melee with the fans, kind of lost focus a little bit. We were controlling distance pretty good, and then he went right to the inside with him. You go to the inside with Tank, you know, big trouble. And obviously it turned out to be that. So Ryan's got to stay focused. He can't lose sight. He cannot lose sight of being focused. If you lose sight of being focused with Tank with one punch, he really can punch, and it can be good night Irene. He's got to stay really, really disciplined in that fight, and he's got to take every second seriously in that fight. Is he capable of doing it? I think so. And like I said, if there's anybody that's going to hold him to task, it's going to be Joe Goosen, because I know how he guides the corner. I've worked corners with Joe Goosen, and I think he'll keep him focused, and then it's just going to come down to controlling distance.
You reminded me, I know Hector had vision issues, obviously, that night. I want to say I saw an interview a couple days later, was still having issues. He's 100% now, he's all good?
He's good as far as we know. He had a medical checkup, and he's good to go, so we're just going to give him some time off before he gets back in the ring, and you know, and hopefully he learned a valuable lesson in that fight. You know, you cannot lose focus, not for 1 second, not with a puncher.
Right, yeah. Last one, I want to get your take on, Bob. Man, a big one. David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant. It's a great fight. Great fight against two young bulls. Do you lean one way or the other with that? And how stylistically does it look in the ring?
Well, I lean with Benavidez. I think it's going to be a tremendous fight. I think both guys, no matter what, their stock's going to go up. I think Caleb will be, in the early rounds, will be outboxing him, moving around. But I think David will sooner or later start to cut the distance. He'll figure out how to get into range. And if it gets at all into a firefight, you got to like the guy who's probably the bigger puncher, the faster hands, the longer guy, and just is, he's more adept at that kind of style, right, than Caleb. So Caleb, to me, it's very difficult to box 12 rounds against a guy like that. You know what I mean? It's like I always say, it's like going for a jog, right? You go for a jog, it's not too hard. But when you have a pit bull running after you in that jog, you know what I mean? It changes the dynamic of everything. So we'll see how he handles that. But I like Caleb, and I like Benavidez, but I do favor Benavidez in that fight.
Yeah, it's a great fight. It's a great matchup. Bob, thank you so much for your time, man. Any other fights you got going on? I think Puello. I can't
Alberto Puello.
He's fighting Rolly Romero.
Yeah, he's fighting Rolly
fight.
Romero. Yeah, that should be a good fight. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Good, man. You're busy. Busy guy.
Yeah. There'll be a main event on Showtime, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, where is that fight?
It'll probably be in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
From here,
All right, I'll be there for sure. But a home game for you too, which is awesome.
Yes, we gotta keep plugging away, baby.
Yes,
Plugging
sir.
away.
Thank you so much, Bob. Appreciate your time, brother. Thank you, man.
Thank you. God bless you.
Yes. Student, everyone. My pink phone or is it your phone? No, he'll take it. Pues sí, los dos.
That's probably it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow for the weigh-in. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for watching.